Alright, so I am here. And I just realized that was coming off of my computer, not my headphones, so the headphones are pointless now. And I want to re-edit some photos that I actually already took and posted and whatever. I just wasn't necessarily like super in love with how I edited these, and I think that maybe part of that has to do with the fact that I am definitely still kind of figuring out what my post process and like my finishing is going to be, which I hadn't realized how important that's going to be to me in the long run. Just for kind of like having cohesion within what I do, and also kind of making it easier for me to round off a photo too. Apologize in advance, I'm opening this. Can of Coca-Cola, which I know is bad for you, but you know, we gotta pick our poison, right? I don't know. And I especially like went really, like, I really just changed what this image looked like, and I don't think I should have gone this route. Let me see if I can find something really fast. Yeah, here, hold on. So, another thing about this, really quickly, but I don't know if I have anything in my exports, is that I also think I scanned this film in a little bit wrong, I guess is how I'm gonna call it. And I say that because it's got kind of this like flat haze to it, and so I thought, now this is gonna disappear, but ignore me. I thought that like bringing in some texture and whatever into these digital photos would be fun. And in hindsight, what I think I actually really want to do is like rewash this film because it had lots of dust on it and whatever, and rescan it and kind of like take a new approach at that. And I think that I also want to just like take a step back from this like crazy punchy high dynamic range photo. Like, this is just not how I would naturally approach an image anyways. So what I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna reset this one. Sorry, I have a couple other images that I could technically choose from. So I kind of want to see which one makes the most sense. I'm also realizing that my camera is like really off from where I actually am, I think. I don't know. I feel like I maybe bumped into this at some point. Alright, so I'm gonna reset this, just like, we're gonna get rid of this entirely. And I think the first thing that I want to do, and this is something that I have started doing, and do I have 21 installed on here? Yeah. So maybe in the long haul, this silliness will cause me to like completely shift the system that I'm shooting on. And I'm sure that what I'm about to do is going to be really cringy for some people. But I have been checking out whether or not I like the R5 color profile or not. And sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. I actually don't think I like it for this one. Or maybe I do. And the reason that I've been doing this is because in general, I'm just like really curious about how these camera profiles impact like the color tonality in my images. And on top of that, I think it's really interesting how like the Pro Standard has way more like warm tones, and then this has way more fuchsia in the midtones. I don't know if I have a color card for this shoot. I'm sure I do somewhere, but I'm not gonna fish around for it right now. I already have the selects for this pulled. Yeah, like, isn't that wild? Like, that looks completely different. I'm also a little bit curious about Fuji stuff, but, I don't actually... I've never shot with a Fuji camera in my life. So I would have no idea, like, where to even look to. But, like, even this is interesting. Like, I don't know if you guys could tell the difference there, but there's just, like, a little bit more of pinky tone coming in there. And the same thing with the Pro Standard, even for the Nikon camera. Like, there's just way more blushy color coming through. And I think that that's really interesting. Alright, 1 second, I want to look at something over here, like, fast. One second. Okay. I am back. Alright, and I might reset, but like that's so insane. Like, what was I thinking? Why was I like, yeah, let's just completely... And this was like really dramatic lighting that I created. I don't know where my JPEG went. She's gone forever. It was soft and dreamy, but it was still like pretty moody. And I just feel like there's gotta be a way that I can bring this stuff through. In a way that I like. So here we go. Really? It's not gonna apply that? Okay. Also, my apologies if you can hear the heater going in the background. I'm just like bizarrely cold. So I think I'm actually gonna go with the R5 Pro Standard as a place to start. There's just something about that color that is really gentle to me. Let's see. Or this. I wish I actually knew what the 5DSR differences were. But even that's like bringing some interesting warmth in here. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, so I'm gonna play around with this. Here we go. So first things first, I'm gonna put my little croppie in here. I already know that I want this to be like this, and I have absolutely no intent or interest in extending the background like crazy, so this is gonna live like this. I'm curious about like the base characteristics for the curves. Like, I'm kind of into that. I'm just trying to figure out like what's gonna be my base that I want to kind of default to, and what's gonna be my finishing moves. I don't know yet. If any of you have figured out like what your signature finishing moves are gonna be, please let me know, because I'm still trying to figure that out for myself. I'm not like totally sure that I love what's happening here, but it's fine. I am possibly gonna reset this one. And since I don't know where a color card is right now. Yeah, whoa, okay. That's not it. Because I know I gelled these, so I really need to actually not do anything crazy with a color card. Okay. And I also like gelled this stuff too. I don't necessarily hate where I took these, but it still feels a little bit off to me as well. Okay. And I might change this. I don't know, I'm gonna look at a couple more of these. I'm just not sure. Like, that's definitely not it. I've actually never looked at the 5D 4 on here. Yeah, no, that's too much. Do you know what this means? Is that the 5D Mark II is still the MVP camera? Because look at that color difference. Am I crazy? Am I the only one who can see this? Because it's definitely picking up differently on my screen than it probably is on this live stream, which is really funny. I think I still like this though. Okay, so now I have to decide where I want to go. Something that I love about Capture is that I can do these layers like this on in a raw editor. And I know that you can add kind of like add adjustment layers in Lightroom, but it's not really the same as this. So let's see here. I've got my histogram. I can maybe bring this up a touch. And it's gonna be really fun to kind of like look at this with fresh eyes. Or like with a new approach in mind, maybe. I'm also unsure if I want to do this like this first, or if I want to do my curve first, because this will also get changed based off my curve. So I'm going to take my exposure up. Also, my puppy goose just got up. Hi. One sec. Do you want to come say hello? No? Okay. He's dumb. Oh. What are you doing? Come here. This my puppy goose. Okay, you're gonna go back down. Sorry, Munchkin. Now he's gonna bark at me. He's gonna want to play or something. Okay. So I feel like the big thing, and I should maybe come back to this. He might need to go out, and if that's the case, I'm gonna have to open the door. Sorry, everybody. That's how I'm trying to rename this. This was gonna be my base curve. Can I spell curve though? That's the real question. And the reason I'm going to do this is because I want to be able to toggle things on and off and kind of see how they impact each other. So I'm going to put this guy here. And then he's just getting something to drink. I've been kind of playing around with this as of late, but I don't know if this is like something that I want to do for everything or just for certain images. So here we are. Right off the bat, I definitely feel like I'm enjoying this more than this. However, I might. So I know that I want to like actually take this down a bit. I think that my thing is going to be that I'm going to kind of like readjust. Where I want that to live. Okay, cool. So this is like adding some pop in here that I think is fun and probably better than before. I'm not gonna play around with that too much yet, but we can now. So I'm gonna call this one like shadow, mid-tone, highlight or something. Because now I think we'll see here. Now I think I can kind of tinker around with what this does for me. Because like I don't want it to be super crunchy. Oh, and the other thing that I love about this is that I can kind of like take this down if I want to and capture, which I don't know if you can easily do that in Lightroom. It used to not be that way. I bet you that you can now. And I also might take this down to here. So what's kind of interesting is I'm actually not sure if I'm in love with this like camera profile that I've leaned into. I think is the only thing. Anyway, I'm trying to like figure that out. And I recently applied one of the R5 color profiles onto my images and liked it. So I was like, oh, maybe this will be this for everything, but clearly I was wrong. It's so funny to see like all of the different configurations, I guess. I should just start making jokes to people and be like, oh yeah, I'm shooting on a Leica, and then just like process everything with the color. So I almost feel like I'm kind of into this kind of like desaturated moment in her skin tone more, but I don't necessarily think that that needs to come from the camera profile. So what I think I'm gonna do now, I also wonder if my screen is calibrated correctly, because I'm looking at how this is picking up in my live stream and how it's picking up here, and they're two very different creatures. Okay, anywho. Like, what happens if I just like, bring this down? And then alright, let's see where we're at here. I feel like the one thing that I need to do is keep this at 100 no matter what I do, to avoid later confusion, because I definitely see myself getting confused by later. Whoa, I worked all day, so staring at a screen and coming home and staring at a screen is sometimes a little bit much for my brain. Alright, we're gonna put this base curve at 70, because why not? If I like... Why does this exposure have 12 in it? We're off to a terrible start. everything's making more sense now. If I like this at 60%, then I'm gonna try this at like 0.12 instead and leave this at 100. Okay, cool. Let's see. I'm not gonna lie, I'm still kind of dealing with this weird issue of possibly liking my original color more, which is hilarious and doesn't actually feel on brand for me, but it's fine. I'm also realizing that I should probably leave this image uncropped for my export, but I'll play with that later. I don't know. So, we're gonna go bring this in the cooler side because I'm wondering if that's literally the difference that's driving me insane. And I don't have a color card to work off of. Yeah, it totally is. It's like that's that much of a difference. Alright, and then from here, because I do want it to be like a little bit brighter than this. But not too much. I don't know. It's so tricky. I feel like all these little moves are things that I can see, and I feel like I'm scrubbing back and forth on the screen, and the changes are so subtle that people are probably like, what the hell is the difference? And that is the story of my life. Okay. What's also throwing me off is it's starting to look like something I've done before, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But right off the bat, I'm curious about this. I'm always intrigued to kind of see how things apply to other images in the set, because it's not like my lighting changed, but she's definitely further back in the scene in this photo. I just don't know what's right anymore, you know? I definitely think I like this more though. Okay, so. Oh. Will it apply for me? It's thinking really hard. Okay, cool. So the other thing that I think I'm gonna do, maybe, like I initially brought this shadow down to 5, -5. I think I'm gonna lift it. Or maybe I will just leave that at 0 and then, did I put this anywhere horrible? And then what happens if I lift the shadows to 25 here? Because I will say this, I definitely feel like in my digital photos, even more so than the film, like the shadow just kind of really dripped off. And I'm still really trying to figure out like what a finishing move would be for me. I am so cold. And my apartment is not that cold, so I'm really confused. Okay. I kind of want to see, on the note of like silliness, hold on. Something that I've learned over the years a lot of people do is like contrast up 10, saturation down 10. I definitely don't think that this needs that. But I could possibly get into that a wee bit. But let's come back to that, actually. So what I think I'll do next is play around with the color curve. Something that kind of annoyed me the other day when I was trying to play around with the curves, and I know that like editing color in Premiere is yucky business, but it was rough to feel like I didn't have the same control that I usually would in like editing raw photos, like any raw processor for stills, I guess. Okay. So I feel like I'm gonna end up taking this in like kind of a weird direction to start, and I feel like I want to make it extreme and then like loosen it up, but we'll see. Hold on. I know that like the typical move would be to like create some sort of an S. I keep saying that, but that doesn't change my reality. Alright, really fast. I can never get my output and my input like in line. I don't know why I'm doing this way. I'm not paying attention to my sense of reality at all. 1 second. Okay. Like, I definitely see myself, like, doing some sort of blending with this later. Not that this is showing a lot right now, but that's kind of where my head is going. We will see what I actually commit to, though. Okay. I might do like a really short little moment here, but I'm just not sure. I also feel like I want more. See, this is what happens. I'll start to get like, how do I even word this? I love how I look kind of like a crazy person right now. I'll start to get like color happy, and then when I'm done, I'm like, what was I thinking? What was I thinking? Yeah, see, like that's a huge difference already. I don't know if I like this or not. I'm gonna end up playing around with this and then being like, nope, that's not it. So I think it actually makes a lot of sense, but it's like, yeah, no. And I know that right now I'm not really communicating what I'm thinking. But I think that what's tricky is that I don't thoroughly remember the colors of the gels that I used. And I don't know what I'm remixing to because I don't remember those colors. Oh, I don't like this at all. And so this is my like never-ending struggle, if I'm being honest. It's just like trying to figure out what I want to do with color. So I might come back to this in a second, and I might play around with like the color grade tool. I know that I don't like this as much as I like curves though, so we'll see how this goes. And I say that in the sense of like, I can isolate and control, have more control with curves. But I'm wondering if right now this might kind of help me hit what I want to. We will see. Because I kind of still want... What's tricky right now, if I'm being honest, is that I know that I use similar colors to this. That much I can tell you. However, they don't actually look that similar in color tonality. So I kind of want to like have some of this like purpley, pinky stuff. Like, I need to stop saying like all the time. I want it to become reborn in here, for sure. And what's interesting right now is that I feel like I'm kind of getting this into this purpley space. And I don't know if I want it to be in that much of a purpley space, but here we are. And then maybe I should go back to my shadow. So if I push it more in towards the green, it's like pulling that magenta out. Obviously pushing more magenta in as I push it more towards magenta. Let's see. I definitely like this more than this like high dynamic, I don't even know what I was thinking nonsense. I think that I want the shadows to come up more. I think that I want this to come out of here a little bit actually, and I also might pivot the mid-tone again. Let's see. I think I can play with that maybe. The one thing that is kind of driving me kooky right now is that I'm losing, I think it's probably from this grade and probably from the color profile. Yeah. I'm just like losing some of the tan in her skin, so I kind of need to decide what I'm going to do with that. Or the shape, rather. So maybe I'll take it down a little bit. And then I'm going to play around with this again, even though I probably shouldn't. I feel like one of my biggest problems is that the more that I like tinker in these like little subdomains, the more trouble I get myself into, because the next time I go to edit an image, I will not remember that I did this. Whoops. I do like the portrait curve more than the film standard. Not gonna lie. Okay, so I'm definitely liking this. Hold on. I'm gonna reset this one. Like, what was I thinking? I still have no idea what I was thinking. I'm so glad that... I don't think I ever actually posted these. And I feel thankful for that, because what did I do to this? I don't even know. I've had quite a retouching identity crisis this year. So now, here we are, holding ourselves accountable for it on the internet. Alright. What's funny is that this image currently has similar tonality to this one, but without half of the zhuzhing that I did in here. Like, whoa! And I like that. We're getting back to a place of normalcy. I do think that I want to go back to my color grade moment, and I'm actually impressed with myself in the sense that I like what's going on with the color grade. And I'm wondering if I want to take... I'm squinting because I don't really know what the right answer is. And I feel like it's the shadow that needs to go more towards the red. Let's see. Is it even going? I think it's a... Hold on one second. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so if I bring this shadow into the blues more, it's gonna be a little bit darker. I think I'm gonna bring this into like here. I don't necessarily need it to look like that, so I'm gonna let this go. Like, this is a reference to something that I did not like, so I don't even know why I have this open still. Woo! Okay. So here we are, we're going to a place. The next thing that I think I want to do is go in here, and I actually think that I want to even lift this even more, or I need to take the black up, or what's driving me kind of nuts is just like how much contrast is in this. So what I'm gonna do for fun, even though I would normally I would normally add it in there, but for the sake of what I'm doing right now, I'm gonna make a contrast slider here. Because I feel like the end game might be somewhere more in here. And what happens if I do this and then take the black down? That's right, I still have the sun. I definitely feel like I'm bringing out the color that I originally wanted in this image now. And I'm really thankful for that. And all this stuff takes time. There's still like finishing moves that I want to make on this, but I think that I want to take some time and then refine what I've done so far on the other images that I need to redo. So I'm gonna hop off for now, and I'm gonna get to that. And I'll probably stream today, tomorrow, and the next day, since it's been a minute since I got into stream. As a before and after moment, I kind of want to show you guys where we took this, or where I took it to, where I poorly took it to in the beginning, and like where we're at now. Is it not gonna open? Like we're coming from this place, this edit, which is like, whoo, what is she thinking, what is she doing? And we're in here now. I think the photo on the left is way more natural and makes way more sense, and is way, also just like way more my speed. The only things that are kind of irritating to me is that as they've lifted some shadow areas, that's gotten lost on her body, and so I need to like probably bring that in with my own dodge and burn. But I'm much happier with how this is looking versus this. And the reason I want to do this with all of you is to express the importance for doing another pass on your images, because sometimes you might not be thinking clearly during your first approach. I know that I was not. Thanks for joining me today, and I